As an advocate of money backed by something, I see many people who think all we need is the gold standard, and most of the economic problems would be a thing of the past. The problem with this thinking is it gives ammunition to the Keynesians, monetarists, or any other schools of economic thought that studied the Great Depression. I know you'll say one of the main catalysts for the Roaring Twenties, and then the Great Depression was the new Fed manipulation of the money supply. I know, you're preaching to the choir. What I am saying is that we also need to focus on how to take away all the tools the government, or any quasi-governmental organization has that can manipulate the economy. If you're reading or listening to this and you think an organization or organizations manipulating the economy is a good thing, with a chain of recent events, I believe there is nothing I, or anyone for that matter, can say to change your mind. Fiat currency is one of 4 arrows that these organizations have in their quiver. We must not fall for the trap of only focusing on one. We must look at all 4 of them. That's what I will attempt to do with this video. The first arrow is fiat currency. With fiat currency, the purchasing power tends to evaporate over time. In fact, history shows no fiat currency has a lifespan for more than 100 years. They all become worthless in less than that. The Bretton Woods system collapsed in 1971. As for a lot who are opposed to gold-backed money, it is not as archaic as you may think. When the purchasing power of a currency tends to evaporate, it takes away the incentive for long-term savings. It also slowly and painfully wipes away the middle class. This is why it takes 2 or more working people to equate the lifestyle that one could have provided not too long ago. The second arrow is raising and lowering of taxes. By having a direct tax on labor, or anything for that matter, an organization can cause the boom and bust cycle by simply raising and lowering taxes. By doing this, the people who determine when to raise and lower will have inside information on when to buy, sell, or short, when to invest or not to invest. It gives them an incentive to manipulate the tax rate. It's a way to invest with little to no risk. In fact, if there was a gold standard, no central bank and competing private currencies, but the government had the power to raise and lower taxes, we would still have the boom and bust cycle no matter what form of taxation system we had in place. The third arrow is legal tender laws. With legal tender laws, an organization can control how much currency is in circulation by allowing a lot, or a little of the currency at any given point of time to be printed or minted. As I discussed earlier, if something can give an organization the ability to create a boom or a bust, the people in that organization will use it for financial gain. If there was a gold standard, but only the government, or any quasi-governmental organization's coins and certificates had legal tender status, they would still be able to manipulate the economy for their own benefit. The fourth arrow is central banking. By having an organization control all the banks, they can tighten or loosen up the rules to cause the boom and bust cycle. Some ways they can do this is by allowing banks to keep more reserves or not. If banks have to keep more money in reserve, they will loan out less, compared to if they don't have to keep a large reserve. Even if we had a gold standard with no fractional reserve banking, but we had a central bank that controlled interest rates, that central bank still would be able to cause the boom and bust cycle. Some ways they can do this is by setting interest rates high. By setting interest rates high, it would cause more people to save and cause less people to invest. Another thing they can do is set interest rates low, which would cause the opposite. For a nation to have a truly free economy, all 4 of these arrows must be broken. I will now discuss 2 amendments that I believe would break all 4 arrows. Amendment 28. Every corporation and person with a good or service shall have the right to issue their own currency backed by their goods and services. This currency must be valued in silver or gold, and must be treated as legal tender by the corporation or person who has issued the currency. Any corporation or person shall have the right to refuse the payment of any currency they have not issued themselves. No government, corporation, or person shall have the right to stop a corporation or person from issuing currency once the currency is backed by their goods and services, and valued in silver or gold. If a corporation or person issues currency and do not have the goods or services to back it, the corporation or person's assets must be seized and given to the holder or holders of the currency until the currency value is fulfilled. If a corporation or person issues currency and do not have the goods or services to back its currency because of natural disaster or fire, that corporation or person shall have 30 years to fulfill the currency. If a person dies, or a corporation is disbanded, assets from that person or corporation must be given to the holder or holders of the currency until the value of the currency is fulfilled. No government shall tax currency issued by a person or corporation in any way. Amendment 29. Any person or corporation can create an entity known as a stockhouse. A stockhouse can be created under contractual law and independent of any government or any organization influence. For an entity to be seen as a stockhouse in a court of law, it must fulfill all three criteria. 1. Be a holder of currency. 2. Have full reserve of currency. 3. Have the ability to pay any or everyone the currency they have stored for them within 24 hours of demand. The third criterion is not broken if a person or a corporation signs a contract with a stockhouse to have the stockhouse hold currency until a maturity date. In cases where a person or a corporation signs a contract with a maturity date, that person or corporation cannot demand currency under said contract until maturity date. A stockhouse is exempt from all forms of taxation and does not have to show its books unless it cannot fulfill one of the three criteria mentioned above. If a stockhouse can fulfill the third criterion, then it must be assumed that the first and second ones are fulfilled. A stockhouse can set its interest rates, if any, at any rate the owner or owners see fit. A stockhouse can charge any amount, if any, for storing currency. If a person or corporation cannot pay their fees, the stockhouse cannot deny them the full payment of the currency they had stored if demanded. In the case of an outstanding fee, it is up to the stockhouse to get the fee from a person or corporation. In a court of law, a stockhouse can hold or refuse to hold any kind of currency that they see fit, and refuse to hold any person's currency they see fit. With a system like this, if someone loves central banking and fiat currency, they can continue to support that system. Others, on the other hand, that don't, will have more options. If you see any holes in this theory, or the amendments above, please post your ideas. Also, if you see something that I have overlooked, or did not take into account, your input will be greatly appreciated. A good website where you can see more information on topics like this is thegoldblog.tk. Thank you and enjoy.